Welcome to another episode. This is the podcast where we're talking to like body healers, Mavericks and Masters, and I am talking to Merle Jordan. Welcome.
Thank you. How are you doing, Chantal?
I'm good. And yourself?
I am wonderful today.
Okay, fantastic. So today we want to talk about your journey. Okay, I want to learn all about you. So please tell me a bit of your history and give me an idea of what's been happening in your life.
Well, quite a bit has been happening. I'm an athlete, a master's athlete now, but I have my hands in so many other journeys of love. And the athletics started from primary school, where I went to Stoke Primary, which is now Charles F. Boone, onto Springer, where I was games captain of my entire school life of my form, and then 2 years into the game season, in the school sports, I was games captain on those years. But travel along, we've had industrial games and goodwill games over various places from 1980 to 2002. We have our senior games here at Clayton Park. We had to stop because of COVID, but we look forward to the games this year, which should start on the 5th of May. I also am preparing to go to Gothenburg, Sweden for August. Those are World Masters Championships. And then Australia for their biannual Pan Pacific Masters Games, all in preparation for World Masters Olympics, which are taking place in Kansai, Japan, 2025. And beyond that, I am preparing also to go to games in Canada and also Sweden.
Okay, awesome.
Mouthful, yes.
Okay. So let's break this down a little more. I mean, you have won some incredible medals for Barbados over the years in all corners of the world.
Yes.
How are you doing in terms of getting sponsorship and help from local people or even overseas people?
I have a donation bin at Charmaine, who sells the Sherwood, who sells the credits there in Deckles Road. I also sell fish cakes, and we also have a booth at Phoenix. Over time, that has been a popular hit. The fish cakes is the main journey of sourcing funds, but I also do my letters, and I also have a walk, a yearly walk, where I go from house to house and chat with people and let them see me in person. And I also do a 5-minute radio show, inspirational show on Q 100.7 FM. The journey for this year has begun. I've sent in my letters. I only have now to go to the airlines to get a true idea of what the cost of the travel for the trips would be. But I've had wonderful support from my mom and my sister over time as well. And the donation drive, I'm also collecting cents to the bank here still takes them, so I'm telling people to dust off the corners where the cents are, and I go and collect them. So that's two of the main areas of sponsorship. I'm also hoping to retweak my GoFundMe and see how that can also help for this ones and going forward as well.
Okay. And what about the sending athletes from our government's side to some of these games? I mean, you are a medal winner. Is like, are they helping you?
I have not had any support from physical money support from government for a few years. I am not sure what the reason is, but I don't let it deter me from doing what I love. And I've sent off my letters over time. I've sent my reports. Sometimes I find though that maybe the person who is supposed to sign on may not be involved in sports or not sports oriented. So I don't hold it hard and fast. I would really like for others to join me. I've asked some of the other seniors, but most of the times they said that the journeys that I do, lots of hard work and a bit too far. So I'm really on a solo journey, but it has been fruitful, it has been rewarding, and it has been an amazing trip. I've been to Canada, Vancouver, I've been to Toronto as well, I've been to France, I've been to Sweden before Malmo, I've been to Australia. In fact, Australia games have been deferred from last year. They're trying to catch up with the shift from COVID But I've been to them about 18 times, so there's a love relationship there, and I really do well there. I went to Pretoria in South Africa last year. I got 4 medals as well. So most times I always come back with silverware, but it's the journey of the stories that are told, where you meet interesting people and hear their story as well. Sometimes I'm the athlete from the farthest distance away. And then too, I realized that I compete against athletes who would have had their airfares paid, the vitamins, everything done. They just have to tell, where they're going. But I still want to have that persevering attitude where I know that it's still an opportunity to go there and do up my best everything.
Awesome. So when you go on these journeys, I mean South Africa, Australia, I'm assuming the temperatures are not exactly like
No,
ours.
yes, I've had really, really cold temperatures. In fact, when we went to games in Cape Town in 1994, we were thinking Africa hot and everything, but it was so cold, and most of the athletes there, felt ill because you've gone from a hot country to cold, and you weren't prepared in terms of the gear.
Yeah.
So I've even asked for gear to combat when the climates are cold, but I adapt. I sometimes will have the long sleeves or the leggings. So, but I really truly love when it's really hot and toasty.
Of course,
Yes,
because that's
because
what you're
it's like all
accustomed to.
summer. Yes.
But you've been to Japan before?
No, I'm actually looking forward to that.
Okay, but that one sounds exotic and intriguing
Yes,
to me.
and looking at the pictures that they would have sent to talk about the games and so on, it really looks like an interesting place. Australia has been a time zone in terms of the different cultures, although it's
Right.
Australia, but I've made some wonderful friends there. In fact, when I go, it's like trying to decide who I'm going to stay by first after the games have been completed, but it's wonderful there as well too.
Okay, fantastic. So tell me some more now about this radio show that you do. How long ago you started it, and how is it going across with the public?
This show has began really during COVID, where we had such a fear of what COVID was. So I just went in after I do my breakfast run, went in to, bring people's mind off of what had us in a hole. And I used to do the show, an M&M show with Mark Anthony, that was on the same station. But the one I do now is with Admiral Nelson, Anthony Nelson, and it's just for about 5 minutes every morning. Their poems, their prayers. I give announcements in terms of persons, if it's a birthday or anniversary, or to let them know that I appreciate when they tell me when I'm on the road that they tune in. But it's really to just give that little nudge that in spite of what we may experience by the TV, bringing it into our home, or what we experience for somebody else, it still impacts us. So just to give people an opportunity to remember that the world is so beautiful, there's so much to look forward to. And God's love for us is always, always that opportunity for us to just immerse ourselves in it.
Of course.
So
Now I know that you're doing all this athletic work, but what I really got inspired by was all the other things you do to encompass that and the giving back with all that you have to go through just to get to Japan, to get to Australia, to get wherever you're going. And I've met you on your journeys where you volunteer.
yes, I do.
Okay.
In a very big way.
Right. So tell me about that.
That volunteering started way back in 2000. Actually, I worked for some company called Life Sound. Things are a bit slow now, but it's still a passion of mine. And we were preparing for Holton for the annual crop over. And I got 2 shares of food. And I said, Lord, there's so many people downtown who would not have had a meal. So I packaged one very nicely and took a journey to town. Because in doing the promotion downtown as well, I encountered a lot of people who I assumed lived on the street, and we formed relationships. And I would then bombard my mom and the kitchen and prepare foods to take downtown. In fact, sometimes on Sundays, is like 25 people. It's various things. It could be personal items like the razors and so on.
Right.
But I really befriended a gentleman called Brantley, and his love for the foundation of the machinery. You know, he shared his life story of working at the foundry years ago,
Yeah.
and that intrigued me. We would always have wonderful conversations. But then it morphed into seeing other persons and feeling compassion to, you know, make a difference for them. There's so many reasons maybe why they're on the street, but I overlook that, and I thank God for the journey that He's chosen me right now to do that. So it has been wonderful. Bradley has passed, but I have not stopped. In fact, if I walk and my bike hasn't anything and I see someone, I just go to them and ask them very nicely if they will care for food, whatever of something that I have in the bag. My mom chips in, she's always there to give that moral support. I also have a friend who has a cook shop. So when she has leftovers, not in a negative way, but have prepared a lot more, you know, I would take that, package it nicely, and go downtown and be a difference to quite a few of the people who I know by name. They know my name. In fact, they actually look forward to the days. It's now not every day now, because with government shifting some of them to different areas, a lot of them don't tend to come back down to town. The areas I go are just there by the fountain, below the old Treasury building, and then over on Fairchild Street, where the Arabara statue is. But it has been a teachable moment every time to realize that, again, in spite of what is happening, you can still make a difference with a person. And it's doing one person at a time. You don't want to, you cannot technically save the whole world, but if you can change one person's world to make them feel as though they belong, appreciated, because I still see in that downside for them, they still have hopes and dreams. They still want to have what they were wired to do to make that difference for someone else. And it really impacted me when I went to Pretoria, that I saw homelessness on such a profound scale. But then I'm seeing them with the latest technology, the cell phones, they're smoking. So how then do you balance that? If not for a few days, for when you leave, you know, how they would actually react. So I think too, cultures play a very big role in what we've been taught and how we live. We all have the same hopes and dreams, but we experience it in a different way when we go to another person's space.
Right. Okay, so that work seems extremely profound.
Yes,
You're doing a lot, but I want to get back a little bit to your games. You said that you run on the mornings. Is this a daily routine for you?
No, it's not a daily routine. Some days I walk, some days I skip, exercise, and the running and the walking are the main journeys right now. Once Easter is gone, then I will do beach work and then track work to just get the time in, you know, as games come a little closer.
So what are your specialties? Are you doing 100s,
Yes,
400s?
my races are 100, 200, 400, and long jump. I vary it as well depending on the journey that I'm in, because sometimes I try to go into the games a few days before to acclimatize, etc. Sometimes it don't always work out because of the closeness of the cutting, the payments to actually get to the games, but also to the level of the competition. We actually run in our age group, but then sometimes you're running against past Olympians. I don't look at that. Once you go there and you compete a race and you feel that joy. I've had times to witness at the games where a guy 75, he brought his mom to his area a couple days, and then he realized that she was walking around. He just brought her there so he can have a visual on her. But then she started to walk around, so that's how she began. She was 105 in 2005. And what made it so profound is that he would go at the end of the race and just open his arms and wait until his mom comes in. So it's moments like that that the whole stadium is cheering and people are clapping, and experiencing your love as well for what you do. So it's always a feeling of, I have a right to be here, I'm here experiencing this. We might call it a legacy, but then when I look at life through another person's eyes, I can really see the connection of humanity. And if we can gear a little more towards that instead of things, then we would have such profoundness every day. But I look for the little nuggets and gems in people.
Yes.
Again, we don't know their journey in terms of their thoughts, and we should be able to respect people's opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure. All right. So when you go to these games, or I mean, even in different places, we are going through so much stuff right now where it comes to our stadium and putting down a track, and you're listening to all this, getting ready for BSAC and all this stuff. What are the tracks and stadia like?
Sometimes it's all to actually be in a stadium which holds something like 100,000 spectators. I actually experienced that feeling. I was the very first games in 2002 in Melbourne, Australia. I had a Barbados flag 6 feet by 4 feet, and I met a friend who got me a pole which was another 6 feet. So I'm waving this flag, and then after the games began, we were on the famous MCG, and I just felt a tap on my shoulder, and it was this gentleman called Sean O'Hara from Australia. And he said, I saw this flag blowing in the breeze. I had to come and see who was the person holding it. He never even heard about Barbados. And, we had a conversation. And next thing I'm looking for him, and he's kneeling down, pulling at the grass. And he said, what are you doing? He said, I live here. This is the first time I've ever been on the famous MCG. And I even had some of that grass as well. So the tracks are awesome. You can feel the difference in the type of putting down that they have.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can feel the fastness, but they're always in tip-top shape. And that experience too, it gives you always have to check the length of your spikes.
Yes.
So that you don't damage the underlayer, because what you see is not really the track, it's the underlayer.
Right.
I still think it's unfortunate that we here in Barbados have not had our stadium refurbished, rebuilt, however we want to look at it. I think we dropped the ball a little bit, even from maybe Obadele and now Shade Williams, where we know we have people on the international scene right in people's faces, and it should have been different. But I guess God's timing should still give us an opportunity to have that component where younger athletes would not be discouraged. Over time for me, I've had mentoring to younger athletes, and looking back now I realize that they've dropped off the radar because of the frustrations for them of maybe somebody telling them no. But I always say, if I ask 500 people and they tell me no, I'm still looking to ask the next person. That's my perseverance. It's not always the medal that you want to look for.
Right.
It's the experience of having another culture that you can share with someone else,
Of course,
and let other people know about your country as well.
Yes.
But the
meeting
tracks are
like-minded
always,
people.
the tracks are always a nice experience to run on.
Yeah.
Again, to at the time of year where some of these events are held, then, because I've run into rain, and I'm wondering why they're still allowing the races to
Right.
go, but I know most of the times when it's an event,
Yeah.
and what I found too is the volunteers. I can't forget the volunteers.
Right.
They were so nice in their execution in the World Games in 2005 in Edmonton, Canada, and the mayor then and the guy from the International Games Association had such prayers for them. So we go on the track and we run, but then the behind the scene workers, the person who brings out the implements for you to use, the guys who put down the hurdles, they all have a vital role in the execution of the event. So I go and share with them. I usually take a lot of Barbadiana to make a difference to them, to let them know. And the smiles on their faces are just so phenomenal sometimes. But the tracks are a joy to compete on.
You're an ambassador for all of us.
Yes, I know that, and I appreciate it. I actually want to say thanks to my mom. She is 92 going 93, but her love for sports began when they used to have a race called the A80.
Right.
And she still has a saucepan that she won. She does just boil eggs in it now. But I've never seen that saucepan get dark in terms of soup and stuff like that.
Right.
And she's always giving prayers and sending me on my way. My grandmother, her mom before that, always used to say prayers and everything. But family support is very, very vital, and I want to say thanks to them. My sister Cheryl, most of the times, is the last resort to pay for the trips. And mom has taught us to be always giving. She still has that example. Anytime you come to our home, she's looking around the house. She still bakes, she still has all of her faculties, and she does the cakes, the apple juices, the jams, the jellies. That's still her journey. So I'm still thankful to God that she's here. So oftentimes in my journey as well, for anything or anyone, I take the spotlight off of me. I'm just one person in all the number of people in the world. And if I can bring the spotlight to someone to let them feel that they belong, then that has been another medal for me. To be that ambassador, to go out there and make a difference every single day. If someone say they want my bag, I say you have a plastic bag, give me and they can have it, because we are supposed to be able to discern the true values of what life really is.
Yeah.
And
it's not material things.
Material things.
Yes.
It's not material things.
Yes, yes.
So even in meeting your mom and Mavis and Carmen, they have added to the journey as well. And elderly persons I tend to gravitate to because they have so many stories to share. But along the way, I look to mentor any person.
Yes.
And sometimes it may be hard for them in terms of what they are experiencing. So I always offer a prayer to tell them whatever they're going through, God is bigger than it. Some may not know even of the peace that you can have of having that relationship, but then it comes back to nature and the messages that nature sends to us every day. Our life are chapters too,
Yes.
where we look at the trees, there's the blossom, there's the fruit, then it has to mature and ripen, and the cycle goes on and,
Yes,
and goes
of
on.
course.
We are given a blank page every day.
Yeah.
What do you want to write on that page? What do you want to leave? What do you want to say for today only? Because the messages is we only have now. We don't only have now. We can live with the hope that tomorrow will come. However, it can be fast. We're on a journey, and they say the people you're hustling, but you can only get to your destination
Yeah.
when God allows.
Yeah.
So that I want people to take the mind off of hustling, off of having to get to a location for you. Turn it around, and even if you stop to say hello, or somebody stops you to ask you a question, that is the moment when God gives us a pause to realize, hey, you know, where am I hustling going?
Yeah.
Sometimes with somebody, we might think the question is minuscule, we might think that it has no bearing on what we do,
Right.
and then it comes back to us maybe at the end of the day when we go over our day and our conscience comes a calling. Was I nice to that person? Was I rude? How was my day to
Right.
me? For me then to go out there
Yeah.
and share that journey with whoever.
Yes.
I say hello to almost everybody, and the thing is too, sure, Chantal, is that no matter where I go in the world, I have an experience like that. I could be walking through an airport. I also do a journal log that I ask the pilots to sign, and it's basically the number of crew, the number of passengers, what type of aircraft, the duration of the flight, the height, the distance and all like that. And I have had wonderful visits to the cockpit to chat with the pilots, the first officers, the senior first officers, because depending on the trip, you may have 3 or 4 people in the cockpit rotating and so on.
Right,
So,
right.
but for the long haul trips, I always ask God to put me beside someone who I can share a conversation with. And if when I get there and I say hello and I gauge the response, then I would know not maybe to say anything or. But I've had interesting conversations
All
with
the
people
way.
all the time. Yeah.
Well, I
the
hope,
people sitting beside me.
I hope that the people that are listening to us
Uh-huh.
can see and understand why I wanted to have this interview with you. Because everybody thinks healers are people like myself who sits here and does the iridology and herbal medicine, but it's about giving love, giving service, giving
Yes.
back.
Mm-hmm.
And those things come from the heart, they come naturally,
Yes.
and they are easy for you to continue to do, and it is a beautiful thing.
Yes, and you just mentioned the love. I know that is, in a way, what has the entire world in a Tuesday, because we're searching, but for what are we searching that would give us that ultimate happiness? We can have so many things, we can have so much money,
Yeah.
but then we're still searching.
Yeah.
So I know it goes beyond that.
Yeah.
And that love which is so easy to share comes back down to peace within, the human side all the time, because we can even look at the animals and see most of the times they only attack if they feel threatened, I would think,
Yeah.
or if you go into their space, or attack for feeding.
Yeah.
But because life for human beings now, I think, is image to be seen. So are we doing things to cause eyesight to come our way, or are we doing things to have help?
Yeah.
Because sometimes not all disabilities are seen, and if we keep telling someone they're no use or it can't work, that's the life that they're going to live. And to cut down people, again, respecting people's opinions, because how we were reared till now is so vast. We still have values that were imprinted and licked into us, sometimes with lashes,
Of course.
that would still
40, 50 years ago.
honor us today, for us to be even calling our teachers yes sir and no ma'am and stuff like that.
Yes.
So we're not supposed to hold that to ourselves. Again, we have to let things
Yes.
go,
Yes.
where one generation should be teaching the other, but then because we want to shift to make it feel as though there's no pain. But I say to people, share your story. It could be painful, but sometimes some person who is going through that same experience
Need help. to
need
hear
help
it.
to
Yeah,
be
they
able
need
to
to hear it.
handle
Yeah.
it. So
And
as
they
I
need to see
travel,
if you came out the other side,
Yes.
so that they can come out. Because
Yeah.
a lot of times that's all people need to know, that somebody else went through this and they got through it.
Exactly,
They got
yeah.
past it.
yeah,
They got over it.
Mhm.
So all of us sharing, this is one of the reasons I wanted you here so much,
Mhm.
for you to share your story
yes,
with all, for everybody to see.
whoever.
Yes, for sure. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for having me. I hope in some way that I was able to bring home to whoever is tuned in, listening, or seeing the true value of life, where love is critical in all that we do.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you as well.